Yes! Oh, man. You know what's better than Fantasy Football Wednesday? It's Fantasy Football Thursday. Oh, man. I am very, very, very jacked up. Very, very, very jacked up. I have an energy drink here. I don't know why. I really don't need it. I got me a bottled water. I'm ready to roll. Got a good game tonight. Jets, Patriots. Really excited about this. Going to be a good matchup. The winner will be 2-1. The loser will be 1-2. You have the Bills, which are 2-0. The Dolphins are 1-1, but they're traveling, and they have a backup quarterback. Everybody knows about the Tua situation. So, Jack Caron. Hopefully, I got that name right. JC starts off strong. Trade Henry for CMC. Okay. My initial reaction is no. Okay. There would be a few exceptions. Okay. And let me give you the exception rule, and let me break down the CMC issue because he's on IR, so he's out for at least the next 4 weeks. Here's the 49ers schedule. At the Rams, and then 2 home games against the Patriots in Arizona. The reason why I bring that up is because these are 3 games that the 49ers are going to be favored in. More than likely, you're going 2-1, 3-0. If you go 3-0, you're going to be 4-1. You have a nice Thursday night game at Seattle. Okay? If you go 4-0, you're going to be 5-1. Then you have a big-time game week 7, and this is as soon as CMC can come back. Week 7 at home against Kansas City. But it's an AFC team, and if you're 5-1, you're probably not going to play CMC on that one. And even if you do play CMC in that one, it's not going to be 100%. Chiefs have a good defense. Week 8 at home against Dallas is probably where you're getting them. Now, week 9's a bye. Here's the issue. CMC comes back week 10, which is probably the most realistic. At Tampa, you get Seattle at home, at Green Bay, at Buffalo, Chicago. How many points are you really getting? The only way I would make this trade is if your running back room is so stacked that Derrick Henry's sitting on the bench and you're 2-0 and you're just sitting there going, you know what? I want that last couple of weeks for that playoff push to be big. And I'm not using Derrick Henry. If I remember correctly, actually, hold on here. I got it pulled up. 13 carries against the Chiefs, 5 in the first drive, and then they didn't want to use them for whatever reason. 18 carries last week. I like the matchup against Dallas. It's a smaller defense that gave up a lot of yards to Kamara. I really got to believe that Derrick Henry over the next couple of weeks is going to be a guy that you want. So the only way I would make this trade, the only way I would make this move is if you're not, and I have no idea, would you have Kamara and Cook, Brees? I mean, so yeah, that I wouldn't do that. The only way I would keep in mind, I'm not sold on Derrick Henry staying healthy the whole year, but for the next couple weeks, Derrick Henry's probably going to do well. By the way, CMC, just because he's on IR doesn't mean he's only back for 4. More than likely, he is going to be out till I'm thinking week 8. and then maybe after the bye, because I'm looking. I really think there's a good chance San Francisco wins their next 4, and they come into Kansas City, and Kansas City's coming to San Francisco. I know it's kind of a revenge game. I could really see San Francisco saying let's hold off, because Dallas is a Sunday night game. That's probably the most realistic game. CMC's coming back, and then week 9's a bye. I mean, so I wouldn't do it. There is a few exceptions to the rule on this, which would be you're just really loaded at the running back position, and you're thinking playoffs. But the answer yes or no, the answer would be no, because you're going to get CMC's out just minimum 4. More than likely he's going to be out till week 10. So Deanie, what's up, brother? Man, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Man, it's good seeing some of you guys back, man. I really appreciate it. Derek, what's up, brother? Derek, this is a smart move, man. Drop Tucker to add Butker, absolutely. So Tucker has been bad past 50 yards lately, and it's really weird. I don't have an answer for this, but sometimes kickers might just get the woolies or what have you. Butker's been consistent. Tucker's missed like most of his 50-yard field goals. You're right, like 50 plus, one out 7. And the one thing I do like about Kansas City is that Butker got a lot of points for Kansas City last year. Normally what you want is a kicker with a bad offense, and because you want to get field goals, not extra points. The one thing about Butker in Kansas City is that you're going to consistently get points. Last year was kind of Chiefs offense was a little off. Your offense is going to be a little better in Kansas City, but also, as a traditional rule of thumb, you want to get guys in dome stadiums. Of course, Butker, in the Midwest, Baltimore's, has some adverse weather, but with Butker, you saw last week, 50 plus yard field goal to win the game, no brainer. Where Tucker's been missing the 50. I would absolutely do this. And depending on the type of league that you're in, some leagues, even if you miss a 50-yard field goal, you still get a point deduction. You could get negative points in a situation like that, where it's pretty unlikely you're going to get a negative game. You're probably not getting a negative out of each, but But yeah, I would make this move. I'm not sure why Tucker's missing these ones from 50. I'm not sure. Could be, he's been in the league for a while. I've seen this happen. Some kickers, after a while, they lose to range. Sometimes it's a mental thing, but yeah, this is a good move. Raymond Brown, what's up, brother? Start 2 in full PPR. Olave, London, Dobbins, Charbonnet. Thanks. Okay, so full disclosure, I always like running backs better than receivers. I forgot to check the injury report for Seattle. I believe the way it is, I 100% believe that Kenneth Walker is going to play. I don't know that for a fact. If he's not going to play, he's out. Charbonnet, I would consider. Dobbins, I've been saying this for a while. You want to start Dobbins. In my opinion, it's between Olave, who is he had, if I remember right, it was like 4 for 80 last week. Probably didn't get you a lot of points. Big game against Philly. I got a feeling Olave's due for a big game. Charbonnet, if Kenneth Walker's back, this is Dobbins and Olave all day long. here's the drill. If Kenneth Walker's out, you might still want to go Olave. You still might want to go Olave. But I always like running backs in PPR because you get that dual threat. And another thing is with Walker out, you got a chance to get 15 to 20 touches with Charbonnet. Olave's not getting 20 touches. I mean, he's just not, and that's where you're recipient. Dobbins is a must start. I know the Steelers defense is really tough. I know Justin Herbert's questionable, and I should have dove into that injury report in a little more detail. I think Dobbins is a must start. I know it's a tough Steelers defense. I know it's tough. You still got to do it. It's Olave and Charbonnet. And the reason why I'm rolling London out is he did almost nothing until that final drive. Kansas City's got a pretty good secondary. So I don't think it's a good matchup for London. I do like Olave in this game quite a bit. I mean, so I it's between Olave and Charbonnet, and then keep an eye out on the injury report, because if Walker's out, I would lean toward Charbonnet. If Walker's playing, definitely put Olave in there. Hopefully, Raymond, that helps you out, brother. Brian Wild, what a cool name, man. I have an interesting trade in the PPR league. My Pitts and Neighbors for Bowers in Worthy. I like Bowers more than I like Pitts. I like that a lot. But with Worthy, Houdini says he doesn't like it. And here's the deal with Worthy. You're going to get like week one. And I said this right after that game too. So week one, he got 2 touchdowns and people are really, really high on him. And I said, listen, he's probably going to get you like 5 to 7 touchdowns all year. He's going to have one of these games where he gets you 2 touchdowns, like 60 to 80 yards. And you're going to be like, oh man, the 4.21 speed Patrick Mahomes. But here's the drill. Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be incorporated more in the Chiefs offense. I know this. Trust me, the Chiefs really want to get Juju Smith-Schuster. And Worthy's going to be a guy that is basically getting 5 touches a game. Attempts, maybe. He's going to have that game where he gets you, 60 to 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you're going to go, why didn't I get him? I get that. Neighbors is a guy who the 10, 127 and 1 they did last week. You're going to see that consistently. Neighbors is going to be 1,000-yard receiver. Bowers is, I really think that they're going to use him more in the Raiders offense. I have no idea with Pitts. I really don't know. So if you have Pitts and Neighbors, I understand why you'd want to upgrade with Bowers. I get that. You're taking a massive loss on Worthy, but full disclosure, he's going to have one of these games that, he's going to have one of these 2 touchdown performances, just like he had week 1. You're going to be mad, but Neighbors is much more consistent. If you're the one with Pitts and Neighbors, I wouldn't do that. I know I like Bowers. I think they're going to incorporate him more in the offense. Keep in mind, this is a rookie tight end that had some injury issues while he was at Georgia. Pitts is unreliable, but the potential is there. I would not make that trade. All right. And by the way, Houdini agrees with me. Yeah. And by the way, one of the best parts about doing the Fantasy Football Thursday show is that you're getting my advice, but you're also getting some really, really good stuff in the chat. And the whole point of doing a show like this is to get engagement from people, because I want to hear from people and I just want to talk football. I'm not the end all be all. This is never going to be a show where if I say to do something and you do just the opposite, that you're going to be shunned or banned or any of that crap. We don't do that here. All opinions are welcome. I encourage people to disagree with me. I encourage people to tell me I'm wrong. But I don't like this trade for you, because Neighbors is potentially a wide receiver number one. Worthy's never going to be that guy. And with Pitts and Bowers, right now, Bowers looks like the better option. A couple weeks from now, Pitts may look like better option. So definitely keep Neighbors. So should I buy low on Zach Moss? I would. I keep in mind, I've always had a Zach Moss crush. I was watching another YouTube show that said you should sell Zach Moss. I'm not buying that at all. Zach Moss is a guy that going into the season, the Bengals thought that they were getting an improvement. I know they're splitting carries a little bit with the other running back, I think Chase Brown. I like Zach Moss. He's a 3-down back. He's a bigger dude. One thing about the Bengals is the last 3 years, including this one, they've been 0-2, and then their offense starts going in high gear. I'm not telling you Zach Moss is going to be a number one guy, maybe a number two, but if you can get him really cheap, absolutely get him and stash him. He may be a nice flex option. I really believe that now that the Bengals got their 2 losses out of the way the first 2 games this season, which by the way, you can go back. I mean, I've been kind of predicting this. You know, I predicted week 1 they would lose for a while. I bet on the game. I took New England in 9. I didn't take the money line, but I bet New England in 9. I got a video. I can prove it. So now that you got those 2 out of the way, you know, rest of the league, watch out for the Bengals. And Zach Moss, I think, will be part of that uptick in that offense. Mike McFarland, what's up, brother? Get a little what's up, Dan. I traded James Conner and Zamir White for Chris Olave and Tank Dell. Thoughts? I like it. And I'm sorry. You know what? Let me read the whole sentence before I tell you how much I like it. I traded James Conner and Zamir White for Chris Olave and Tank Dell. Thoughts? My other running backs are James Cook, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason, Jonathan Taylor. I have A.J. Brown and Kupp hurt. I like it quite a bit, and the main reason I like it is because you got J.K. Dobbins and you got James Cook. I mean, these are both running back number ones. And then you have Jordan Mason, who's a running back number one right now. Keep in mind when CMC comes back, his touches will almost disappear. Jonathan Taylor's a guy I'm firmly convinced Indianapolis needs to use more. Your biggest problems here with these running backs are which one do you start? I mean, and this is a good situation to be in. Also, that you have AJ Brown and Kupp hurt. Kupp, I'm not sure how long he's going to be out. AJ Brown's out next week. The Saints win. All right, Eagles go 1-2. Is there pressure on AJ Brown to maybe come back sooner than later? Yeah. And then AJ Brown's a legitimate number one. I've been gushing about Olave for a little bit. Tank Dell, but Olave, I really like that move. Really like this trade. I really like this trade because there's 0% chance on this team Zamir White's ever touching the field. Ever. And then I've been saying this for a while. I believe Trey Benson's going to eat into James Conner's carries. Who you're starting this week's a tough one. I mean, I think Cook's a must start on Monday night. I'm adamant about Dobbins. I will admit going against Steelers defense is kind of tough. I've always liked Jonathan Taylor. He's not used much in the passing game. The Bears defense is really, really good. I like Jordan Mason quite a bit. Let me rephrase that. I honestly didn't know if he'd have a good week 2 or not. But look, you're playing against a depleted Rams defense. Could have a good game. So, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Somebody was talking about. Yeah, somebody was talking about Olave. I believe that. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. the B in the Back Talk brothers, the great one, the talent, Gooch. Yes. God, the show's always better with some talent in here. Dude, this was a brilliant move because you got two guys that you're not even using. How did you get all these stud running backs? Great job. You really upgraded your receiving core. I think Olave is due for a big game. You're going to love it. I think you're going to like it, and please keep me informed. I really want to hear back from you Monday and hope. Well, actually, you're starting Cook, so Monday you're going to be like, yeah, I don't even need Cook to score anything because I already won. But hopefully we're having that conversation Monday. But worst case scenario, hey Dan, I need Cook to get like 5 points. Do you think you'll get it? And I'll be like, yeah. Enjoy the victory. Corey, aka Red Sea, bro. I'm at work, dude. So what I did is this was kind of the whole point of Afternoon Delight is bringing you some workplace, breaking up that monotony of the workplace with a little Afternoon Delight. Corey, I'm so glad to see you, man. Perry, yes. God, Perry, man, I missed you yesterday. Should I even say that, man? God, I am. Perry's been a regular for a while. If you see me, like all of a sudden I got like a weird rash on my elbow. Yeah, he's referring to Justin Tucker. That's the word I was looking for. Yips. Thank you, Derek. Who do you think will win tonight? Please watch my. I forgot to post this here. Please watch my video, but let me get this here. Please check out my week 3 picks video if you haven't already. It's a great video. This year I'm keeping my picks videos pretty short and sweet. I do like the Jets tonight. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a relatively low scoring game, but I wouldn't touch the over-under at all. There's a lot of over-unders that are under 40 points, which the NFL doesn't like. I love, but I wouldn't touch it. I predicted 22-20. You got two. I'm not sure what to think about Jets defense, but traditionally, early it does look like you're going against two good defenses. I'm really excited about tonight's game. You got 2 running backs I love in fantasy football. 2 running backs I have major man crushes on against 2 really good defenses. It's going to be a good game. I got the Jets. I wouldn't touch betting this game with a 10-foot pole. I don't like any bets. I was looking at ESPN prop bets, and the one thing I would encourage you is if you really need some action, this is just not a good game because you have some decent prop bets are available. Low numbers, relatively speaking, for the running backs, but I could see both these running backs missing on the rushing, but doing well in the passing game to compensate. But long-winded answer here. I like the Jets in a close one. Thanks, Derek. I'm between both running backs. Would you flex London over both running backs? Let me see if I can find that original. Yeah. By the way, keep an eye out on the injury report because if Kenneth Walker plays, you want to keep Charbonnet out. So, Slasher, what's up, brother? Man, I got Slasher in the house, man. What a great game. What a great game Sunday. Eagles, Saints. Seriously, when the schedule first came out, who would have thought like this game's when you're circling? This guy is like, I can't wait to see this one. Yeah. Would you trade J-Mo for Monty? Connor Clinton in the house. For Monty, I would, and I'll tell you why. I know he had 100 yards week 1 and a touchdown, probably got you 20, 25 points. I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. I really believe the Lions need to use Laporta a little more. In preseason, they picked up Tim Patrick, a guy I absolutely love, just couldn't stay healthy. I really think that the offense is better suited in Detroit to have Derek Carr be more of a. It's kind of weird. I got weird. I'm starting a little distracted. I got like kind of a rash on both elbows, just like all of a sudden. I don't know what the hell happened. But would I trade JMO for Monty? I would, because I think Jameson Williams is going to become a lesser part of this offense. And I've always believed that they should use David Montgomery more than Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs is more exciting. He's flashier, but go back to week 1 when they hit overtime and they got the ball first. What was it? It was Montgomery. I mean, that's a guy they kind of lean on. Montgomery is going to be that more consistent. I think he's a running back number 2, but the thing with Jameson Williams is, week 1 he was big time performer. He's a solid 2 flex option. But the thing is with Montgomery is he's always going to be able to get you like 15 to 20 points almost every single week. I like this move, but I just full disclosure. Let's just say you make this trade. There's going to be a week where Jameson Williams, gets you that 25, 30 points. But throughout the course of the season, you're going to get a lot of games that I think his production is really going to go down. Where Montgomery's always going to get, that 15 to 20 touches. I think he'll go over 1,000 yards rushing and he'll have at least 10 total touchdowns. You're probably not getting that from Jameson. And keep in mind, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's always going to be wide receiver number 1. Patrick's going to eat into those touches. And why the Lions aren't using Laporta more is kind of a mystery. But I fully expect that uptick. So the answer is yes, I would. But if you do make this trade, the week where Jameson, blows up and has like a week 1 performance, and there will be 1 or 2 more of those games this year, you're going to get mad. But over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks, when Montgomery gets you about 100 to 120 points, and Jameson has about 60 or 70, and you got a couple extra wins, you'll thank me. So, Kittle missed practice. Yeah, he's not 100%. Dave, thank you, by the way, for the update. I'm kind of following that injury report. I do expect him to play. Samuel's out, of course. CMC's out. I think that this is kind of a precautionary move, but I do expect Kittle to play. Something I'm keeping an eye out for. Raymond, man, that's what we're all here for, brother. By the way, I apologize. I'm already behind on comments, but I'm going to try my best to answer every and all questions. Raymond's tough call, kind of leaning toward Charbs, assuming K. Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Dobbins is a tough matchup, but I do think he'll score. I right now, I think Dobbins is a must start, even against a tough Pittsburgh game. So, man, hey, thank you so much. I'm aware I rant a little bit. I drank an energy drink before I came on. I'm about ready to pop another one. I got bottled water here, but I'm going to answer any and all questions. I'll try to keep my rants to a minimum. Need help at tight end, drafted, cut Ingram. I get why you did it. Not playing after pregame, beyond frustrating. Picked up Smith. Seattle got torched last week. Want Bowers. Don't blame me for wanting Bowers. Just I caution you about Bowers. I know he had big week 2. Got injured against in Georgia last year. I don't care what he's listed at. He looks like he's 225, 230, so be careful. I have Murray. Nice. Murray and Carr, two nice options. Dak and Hall, nice. Devon, Mason, Jacobs, Chase, Rice, good lineup. JMO and Dobbs, package who 1/2 PPR Yahoo. Okay. Man, you got some good receivers, so you can move some guys. I'm telling you right now, hold on to Jamar Chase at least this week. Trying to look at your lineup here. So you cut Ingram, you picked up Smith. Who is your tight end? That's what I'm trying. I'm looking to see who your tight end is. At the way your lineup is set up, you don't even have a tight end. So you're trying to make a trade just so you can get a tight end. You got if you have to do a package deal, I'm looking at your last two receivers, JMO and Dobbs. The thing is, though, Jordan Love, there's talk about Jordan Love coming back, and you may just want to wait there. You might, depending on your league and who you got, you might be able to do JMO straight up for Bowers. It's a tough sell. I would throw Dobbs in as well. That's just me. Keep in mind Jordan Love comes back, and you may hate me for that, but I mean, I'm looking at your other receivers. I mean, you got Chase, who I think is just ready to break out. You got Rice. So I mean, I think that with I'm kind of thinking what you might want to do. I'm gonna throw something out. I'm gonna throw something kind of crazy out there because he's an MVP candidate, but you may want to move Derek Carr. And I say that because Dak and Murray probably are getting you more points. I'm trying. I see you have. So you got some good running backs. I am. All right. Let me throw out something. You could probably whoever has Bowers, if they need some help at quarterback, I would strongly suggest moving Derek Carr because you could possibly get Bowers plus something. If nobody picked up Ingram, grab him back real fast because I'm not seeing. Am I missing who your tight end is? Because you may not be able to get Bowers. You might have to overpay. The way your lineup is, you have Dak and you got Murray. They're getting you more points than Carr, so you can move Carr. You can get Bowers, plus you may be able to get something. If you don't have a tight end on your roster, pick up Ingram real fast. If somebody already picked them up and you don't have one, and you can't make a trade for Bowers, Noah Gray for the Chiefs. He's probably available in your league. He's not going to get you that big performance, but he's probably going to get you something. Because I'm trying to find out who your other tight end is. I'm not giving you a definite answer, but one thing I'll say about your team is you got Derek Carr, who people are talking as an MVP candidate. You're not starting him. And you're not going to on this team. So you can move Carr and you could possibly get, I would move Carr and get Bowers plus. Take a look at whoever has Bowers. If that's the guy that you're targeting, what's he got as a weakness? Because if he has a quarterback spot as a weakness, my suggestion is if the guy who has Bowers has a weakness at quarterback, do a package deal for Carr. And because you'll get something more in return. Hopefully that helped you out. I got a rant in here. especially after Neighbors. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the guy was wanting to get rid of Neighbors for Worthy. No, please don't do that. Neighbors is legitimately a number one guy. And he's the main guy in the Giants. He's probably depending on your team, wide receiver one or wide receiver number two. Ideally, perfect world, wide receiver number two. But hold on, don't trade him for Worthy, even though Worthy's going to have one of these games that you get a lot of points. Start Carr versus Philly or Richardson versus Chicago. I would go with Carr, and I'll tell you why. I loved Anthony Richardson coming out of Florida. So much fun to watch. That Bears defense is for real. Did you see what they did against Will Levis? I don't know the numbers Will Levis had, but I mean, I'd have a hard time picturing him getting over 12. Richardson could have one of those type of days. I really think I think Richardson could have a thing. He could also have that breakout performance that people are waiting for. I think Chicago's a bad matchup for him. I mean, I'll be honest, I think that's a low-scoring game. The one thing about Derek Carr is Philly's defense has not been playing great. And keep in mind, they got a new defensive coordinator. They got my guy Quinion Mitchell, who I think is going to be really good. He's had his moments where he's really struggled and had some issues adapting to the NFL. I think Carr is the better option. I really think that Richardson could have a bad game. This could be like one of these like 2 to 5 turnover type of games. And just full disclosure, I really high on Anthony Richardson. Really high on Anthony Richardson. Coming out of college, I don't like the way they're using him. Less than 50%. I really haven't had a chance to go back and watch the Colts yet. Another thing is I also think if I'm the Colts, I would force feed Jonathan Taylor the ball as much as possible, even if you go a lot of 3 and outs. But Carr, short answer, Carr. TJ, what's up, brother? I think you know how I feel about Pittman. Demarcus Robinson's a guy I've always really liked. I remember when he was drafted by Kansas City, I was more excited about him being the 4th round receiver than I was about the 5th round receiver, who ended up being Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Tyreek Hill ended up being better. Listen, you're in a PPR league. I'm always going to tell you to take the running back. Bottom line, Pittman or Robinson, even with the depleted receiving core, Demarcus Robinson's not getting 15 touches. David Montgomery is. Keep in mind, I could see a situation where the Rams are kind of like waving a red flag and, just waiting for the season to be over, where, the Lions are in a must-win game in Arizona. And what did they do when they needed to win against the Rams week 1? Well, they just force-fed David Montgomery. So I would go Montgomery here. I keep in mind, full disclosure, when it comes to PPR leagues, I like the running back because I know I have an opportunity to get 15 to 20 touches here. You're not getting that out of Pittman and Robinson. I like Robinson more than Pittman. But yeah, I would go with Montgomery. Nico Waddle, Z White for Jake Cook, Devontae Adams, Kyle Pitts, I lost Pacheco. Ooh. I also have ARS. I'm assuming you mean Anthony Richardson, but I don't know what the SB means. And Jay Connor. All right, so I'm not sure what the ARSB is. Is it Anthony Richardson? Is that what you're saying? Clarify ARSB for me, please, because I want to make sure I give you the correct information. I'm a huge Nico Collins guy, and I'm also a huge Jalen Waddle guy. Zadir White is not somebody I'm very high on, and James Cook is a running back number one, and I'm assuming it's a PPR league. Losing Pacheco, getting James Cook is a massive upgrade because Pacheco is going to be out for quite a bit. 6 to 8 weeks, could be longer. You may just want to consider Pacheco out for the season if you're a fantasy football owner. James Conner is another guy. I've been saying this for a while. I think his touches are going to go down. So I love the fact that you can get a running back number one. And you're moving Zadir White, who I'm not really high on. Kyle Pitts, I don't think will have a good game against the Chiefs. There is not a guy that I remember coming out of college. I remember he ran like a 4.41. He's 6'6", 240. I think I would love to see Kyle Pitts with like an offensive minded coach, like an Andy Reid or Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, Kyle Shanahan, San Francisco. I'd love to see him because I have no idea why you get a guy who's 240, runs a 4.4, has all the athleticism in the world. And for Atlanta seems completely lost offensively. But when you have a guy that athletic, and I can understand. Devontae Adams is a good pick. You're taking a loss. You're losing. Look, Devontae Adams in your starting lineup, you're replacing Nico Collins with Devontae Adams. You're going to lose something. James Cook, you add quite a bit. I like Jalen Waddle quite a bit, but I would make this move. And ARSB, I'm drawing a blank. Anthony Richardson, but yeah, I would make this move because you're getting a massive upgrade at running back. You have a guy in James Cook that could potentially get you 25 to 30 every week, and you're not losing much going from Collins from Collins to Adams. With Kyle Pitts, in a perfect world, he's not your starting tight end until until Atlanta or another team figures out how to use that massive talent. But I do like this trade. I mean, keep in mind Nico Collins is a guy that's just dominant and looks like he's going to be on. I mean, Nico Collins looks like he's on pace for like a 15-yard, 12-touchdown performance. I mean, he looks like he's having that dominant year. And at the end of the year, Collins will probably be more productive than Devontae Adams. But James Cook may win you this league. He's by the way, he's going against a Jacksonville defense, which has played okay, but I mean, they've had glimpses where they've played bad. I think James Cook could have a monster game just this week alone. I'm still drawing a blank on ARSB. I'm assuming Anthony Richardson, but let me know. But yeah, I do like this move. Craig, what's up, brother? Right before I came on, I forgot to check the injury report on Joe Mixon. Do I think Ramondre Stevenson will have a good game? I think Ramondre Stevenson is a starter. I was looking at prop bets. It was like 69.5. I don't know if I would bet that. But one thing about Stevenson is I do think he'll be a little more active in the receiving games. I do think Antonio Gibson may get some more touches. He's a player I've always really, really liked. And but I do think Stevenson is a guy that will get a touchdown. I'm predicting like 15, 20 points tonight, even though the Jets have a good defense. I am predicting the Jets will win this game. I didn't stay up to date. I should check the Houston injury report. The way I understand it, though, is that Mixon's not going to play Sunday. So this is something I'm kind of keeping an eye out on. Derek says Mixon didn't practice again. Neither did Dameon Pierce. Could be a Cam Akers week. The thing is, I don't think Mixon's going to play, and this is a big game. Houston at Minnesota. It's a big game. Don't get me wrong, but it's an NFC game. You're 2-0, and you're looking at 3 0-2 teams, and all three of those teams have big problems. So if I'm Houston, I would keep Mixon on ice, but I'll keep an eye out on this. But if your choice is Mixon or Stevenson, go with Stevenson definitely. I don't feel like I have the capital to acquire Zach Moss. Bench consists of Brian Robinson. Oh, I like that. Tyler Lockett, Jalen Wright, Bucky Irvin, Mozart, Braylon Allen, lots of sleepers. Yeah. Okay. I mean, look. I mean, Jalen Wright. You honestly, you could cut him, and you may be able to find somebody on the waiver wire. Because you got Jalen Wright and Mozart. I get what you're thinking, and I kind of like that because Mozart is the main dude, but if he goes down, you're probably thinking input Jalen Wright, but Devin Archain and Jeff. I don't know why Jeff Wilson didn't play more, but I'm kind of expecting him to. But we'll wait and see. But Bucky Irvin's a guy that's getting a few more touches than I thought, and Braylon Allen is a guy that I have such a man crush on, but he's not. A lot of people feel like if Breece Hall goes down, Braylon Allen's going to come in and do the same thing. He's really not. And Brian Robinson, I think is going to get more touches. But if I'm Washington, I really get Eckler more involved in that offense. But Brian Robinson, Braylon Allen, and Bucky Irvin on your bench, these are all guys that could be really, really, really productive. And Mozart, when he's ready to start, like he's going to be wildly productive. And Tyler Lockett, I know he had a bad week last week, but he's still a solid dude. I would not in your situation. I remember what you're talking about. Should you try to acquire Zach Moss? Whoever has Zach Moss, is there any chance that he's either a Dolphins or a Tennessee Vols fan? Because if so, you may be able to dangle Jalen Wright and say, hey, look, remember all this potential this had? Remember those highlight reels at University of Tennessee? I've seen weirder things happen. Depending on your commissioner, you may get vetoed. But no, I wouldn't get Zach Moss. I like what you have on the bench. Brian Robinson, depending on your team, might be a solid option at flex. So don't play Braylon Allen tonight. I know he had a couple of touchdowns against Tennessee. I seriously, it wouldn't surprise me if Braylon Allen has like 5 touches for, like does almost nothing. Kind of regret that I didn't look at the Houston Texans injury report before I came on. My fault. But yeah, the Patriots are going to lean on the run game. I'm not sold on the Jets defense. I watched them week 1 and Tennessee had a little bit of success too. So this is kind of one of these games I'm really, really looking forward to. The guy I'm turning into is the CMC owner, so I'm a little worried that his only receivers he has is JSN, Amari Cooper, and Christian Kirk. So I'm shocked that he actually accepted this trade. Yeah. By the way, are you talking about the guy? Hold on here. Let me make sure I get this right. The guy I'm trading this to has CMC and Pacheco hurt, so he needs running back help. So I'm taking 2 of his receivers. He only has Christian Kirk, JSN, and Amari Cooper. Let me make sure I have the information correct here. I got a little distracted. Yeah. Yeah, you did a good thing. Yeah. Yeah, and he has CMC at so he had CMC, so he wanted Connor and White. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And but the thing is though, about if you're a CMC owner, just remember, like, he's probably not playing till week 10. That's when they have the bye. So Hatter's House 710. Go Lions! Dan, what are some good bets on BetUS tonight? I'll be honest, Perry. I really don't like anything on tonight's game. You know, to tell you the truth, the over/under's low. The Jets opened at 6.5. You know what? I believe it's 6 now. Let me find out. Because it's 6 or 5.5 here. Let me find out real fast. I do think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I'm not really high on this game bet wise. It's 6. I haven't checked the weather report, but the over under is 38.5. It's a low scoring game. I mean, if the weather report turns out to be solid, I'm actually would lean towards the over. And I predicted 22-20, which is only 42. But one thing about 38.5, you know, I always look at it as 40 points. I mean, you get 5 touchdowns and a field goal. That's 38 right there. You could get that in one half of football. I mean, 21-17.5. It's happened quite a bit, especially on Aaron Rodgers' team. First half over is 14.5. And the second half is 21.5. If you just need to put down a bet tonight, if the weather report turned out good, I would lean towards over, but I really would avoid this game. I really don't like anything on this game. I really don't. Friday, I'm going to kind of go into, because there is a game I do like, but I'm wait till Friday to reveal that. There's one game I kind of like. Just got offered a trade. It's funny because Brian Thomas Jr. is Perry's guy. I guess offered to trade Brian Thomas Jr. for Waddle. What do you think? I would take that, and the reason why is that there's a chance Brian Thomas Jr. could be the number one guy in Jacksonville. I fully expect Jacksonville's offense to kind of get an uptick. I'm not sure what's going on. Look, I like Waddle. I like Waddle a lot, and I still think he could go for over 1,000 this year, even though Tua is going to be out for the next 4. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm not. When I say this, like, I want Tua to retire more for his own health. Is he entertaining? Is he a good quarterback? Sure. But whoever, if somebody's really in Tua's corner, they're telling him, look, don't risk it. You got multi-generational wealth money already. I don't know this for a fact, but I firmly believe he would be good on TV. But we'll have to wait and see. But needless to say, you have some quarterback issues in Miami. You don't have that in Jacksonville, even though Trevor Lawrence has not played well. I like this move. I do like this move. Since you got offered to trade, I would go ahead and I would accept it. Keep in mind, Waddle's going to have a few games where he plays really, really, really. He's going to have a few games where he plays really well. Brian Thomas Jr., there's no ceiling how good this guy could be, and especially in that offense. I know they only put up 13 against Cleveland. Cleveland's got a good defense. Another thing you got to think about is that you're having Sorry here. I don't know why I clicked on that. They're 0-2 and their coach is on the hot seat. And I firmly believe that, when you're on the hot seat, what do you want to do? Well, a little more riskier. Well, you kind of do a risk reward. Well, Brian Thomas Jr. has like an unlimited ceiling, so why not give him a little more opportunities instead of being a little more cautious? You may want to throw a little caution to win. I like this move. Fuck! If you ain't, hit that like button. Do so, man. Thanks, Funk. Thank you. Thank you for reminding people, hit the like. By the way, for you guys that are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I had Denver Gator remind me to let people know, hey, man, make sure you reach out and let these people know, the subscribe helps. And I get kind of ranting, so I forget sometimes. Alvin Kamara is going to cream pie. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is right now. He's an MVP candidate. Philly Saints is going to be a great, great, great game. I'm really excited. Rhinos Roundtable. What's up, brother? Hey, Chad. Hey, Dan. Just want to say hi. Busy day. See you tomorrow, Rhinos Roundtable. Good luck. Good luck. I mean, it's tough matchup for those who don't know. The Rhinos Roundtable is a Colts fan. Tough matchup with Chicago coming to town. All right, guys, we are almost at the top of hour one. What a great show. I'm going to do my best to make sure I answer all questions. I already see I'm behind. Keep in mind, if I do forget to answer your question, you can hit me up. Somebody hit me up last night on Twitter. I responded very late, but you can hit me up on Twitter or X, Instagram. You can go old school, email me at dantalksfootball@yahoo.com, or you can just drop a comment below here. I'm going to take a very, very fast commercial break, but I'll be right back. My award-winning NFL Weekly Picks video is out. Now, don't watch it right now. This is just a small commercial break as I'm using the bathroom, or more than likely I'm fixing my hair. But make sure you do check it out. It's fantastic. As Afternoon Delight takes a commercial break, we remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate. The video in the description below shows how easy and fast it is to collect your bonus. Click on the link in the description below and start winning today. All right. A great hour one. Here for a great hour two. I'm behind on the comments, so I apologize. I'm going to do my best. Yeah, I don't know who to start this week between Hunter Henry and Sam Laporta. I feel like he's getting the Dallas guy. God, Slasher, that is a tough one. I don't understand the logic behind the Lions and Sam Laporta. Hunter Henry, I think, is option number one in the passing game for the Patriots. I'm leaning. I mean, the Jets is you got a tough team. I could see a situation where Laporta just tears apart the Cardinals. I really could. That's a real tough one. I do think Hunter Henry will get you. Okay. I can't give you. Here's the drill. I think Hunter Henry will be the main guy. I think he's a lock to get 8 to 15. Right. He could get more than 15. I mean, because I could see a 7 catch, 60 yards, 1 touchdown performance. I could see that. I don't think he's going to have that 120 yard, 2 touchdown performance. There's almost no way he gets that. Laporta could get that. This could be the week Laporta explodes and gets like 30 points, which is impossible for Henry to get. So like with Hunter Henry, you have a high floor, low ceiling. With Laporta, I feel like you could get 30 points. You could get 2 points. But I think with Hunter Henry, you're more likely to get that steady 8 to 15. So I really couldn't give you an answer. If you're in a situation where the rest of your team is really, really, really good and you're projected to win, I would go with Hunter Henry. If you are projected to lose, I would go with Sam Laporta, because this could be the week Laporta breaks out, has a 100-yard, 1 or 2 touchdown performance. I could also see Laporta doing 2 catches, 7 yards, as Detroit wants to run the ball more. Maybe they want to continue trying to get Jameson Williams involved in the offense more, which I really thought going into the season, passing wise, it would be Amon-Ra 1, Sam Laporta 2, but it looks like it's Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams. I think that will change. I just don't know if it's this week. I'm not sold on the Cardinals defense either. The Jets, I would have told you before the season, Jets had one of the best defenses in football. I'm not so sure now. I will say this, there is a chance Laporta gets almost nothing. I don't see any possible way that Hunter Henry has under 5 like that. There's no way. I can see a situation where Laporta gets 3 or 4 points. Hunter Henry more than likely would get somewhere between 8 and 15. That's you're going to get some points of Hunter Henry. Laporta, but one of these days he's going to have a big game. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer. I like steady performance, but without having more information, I would lean towards Hunter Henry just because I think you'll get steady performance this week. You'll get guaranteed points with Laporta. You have a big unknown. So. At Slasher, if the Saints beat Philly, do you think they are a contender just playing well early in the season? I'd love to know what Slasher thinks. Should I trade Mason or Jacob straight up for Bowers? No. Bowers had a great week too. The only way, okay, so you got Hall and Devin Montgomery. Okay. I still wouldn't do this. Right now, both these guys are running back number ones. Do not do this. Bowers had a great week. He missed some time in college. He could miss some time with the Raiders. I don't have confidence in their offense. I like Bowers. Don't get me wrong. Bowers could have a 1,000-yard receiving season as a rookie. Don't give up running back number one for a guy that's had one good week. Dan, Mason's a backup, right? Yeah, Mason's going to be a starter for the next several weeks, and he's going to get 15 to 20 touches. Bowers could very easily, against Carolina, have a 4-catch, 30-yard performance, and you want to give up a guy that's going to get 15 to 20 touches. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I have Jordan Love on my team, and I tend to streamline quarterbacks every week. I don't believe quarterbacks are super valuable in fantasy. With that said, should I drop Alex Pierce for Goff, Carr, Geno, or Rodgers? What a great question. One thing about Jordan Love is that there's a rumor that he might play this week. Apparently he's back at practice. I don't believe that. I think Willis will get the start. If the way things are going, Jordan Love may be your starter going forward. Alex Pierce, I know, had that great week 1. You're not getting that type of performance. So I'm guessing that you have some other receivers besides Alex Pierce. I hope you do. You can go with either one of these guys. I would lean towards Goff. And the reason why I say that is because you have a lot of weapons in Detroit. You have a really, really, really good offensive line. And you also have a defense that's kind of struggling right now. Golf out of all these guys, I think is the most likely to get you, that consistent, 15 to 25 every week. I mean, I know Golf didn't do great against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's a team that went to the playoffs last year, won a playoff game last year, and has a pretty good defense. I also think that they came into Detroit really ready to play. And I don't know if Detroit was ready for that. I would absolutely drop Alec Pierce, because more than likely he's riding your bench. Get Golf in there. And then when Jordan Love returns, which could be as soon as next week, keep an eye out on this. I would start Love over Golf, because even with the injury and coming back from an injury, he's still more of a threat to use his legs. Keep in mind, I do think they'll run the ball Josh Jacobs, but actually, tell you the truth, now I think about it, once he comes back, you still may want to start Golf for another week or two. But yeah, drop him, add Golf, and the thing with Golf is that he'll get you some consistency and points. Plus, he could have a big game out in the desert this week. So. Eagles really haven't been an impressive team. I feel like people overrate us. Our team is not, I'll never get over that 10-1 start. You were the best team in football. I've never seen a team just completely collapse. I mean, it seriously, if you run the ball on that 3rd and 1, you're 2-0. The defense still hasn't come together. There's so much talent on that team. So I'm going to guess that you're saying that the Saints, even at 3-0, don't. I'm a level slasher. I think Saints. I'm kind of pulling for the Saints to win this, just because I think Story would be great, and even at 3-0, I still don't think the Saints are that dominant team. I still think I want to see a little more. Another thing about the Saints, really thin on that offensive line, a lot of age on defense, and there's not a lot of depth on this team. So there's but yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. By the way, Slasher nailed it. This is correct. Laporta had a thigh injury during Funk. This is why I need you guys in here. Let me know. He may not be getting separation week to improve, so he may not. I didn't know that. I didn't know this. So this is why I have this channel, is so I can get inside information like this. I didn't know this. Great insight, Funk. For the guy that was debating between Laporta and Henry, this is really good information. Yeah, Perry, I would keep Jacobs too. Absolutely. Thank God, Funk, I'm going to keep him this week. Yeah. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I should have, but I didn't. I didn't know either. Patriots Super Bowl bound. Should I trade Njoku and Reed for Bowers in a 10-man lead? Also got Kincaid, but he's been Njoku's been out. I think he's out this week as well. That's a tough one, because Reed's such an unknown. I mean, you got to understand something. When Jordan Love comes back, Reed could be pretty solid. I'm a huge Dalton Kincaid fan, and I have a major man crush on him. I kind of want to lean towards yes. The reason why I say that is even when Njoku comes back, and by the way, when Njoku comes back, I think he'll be productive. But when he comes back, Nick Chubb's going to come back. And Jerry Jeudy's been really used in this offense, and they still need to figure out a way to use Amari Cooper. So even when Njoku comes back, by the way, when Njoku comes back, the offensive line should be at full strength with Nick Chubb. coming back, you're going to see a completely different dynamic in that offense. So Njoku may be valuable. Reed, you have no idea. I could see Green Bay using the tight ends. I could see Green Bay kind of protecting Love. So there's a little unknown there. With Bowers, I encourage people to kind of manage expectations because he had one really good game. He didn't stay healthy the whole time at Georgia. That raises red flags. I swear at at Georgia. I see Denver Gator in the comments. I'm all excited. I swear at Georgia he played at like 225, and you're playing in the NFL as a tight end. So, but one thing is that you do have some upside and some potential with Bowers that you're really not going to have in either one of these guys. And then if things don't work out with Bowers, you still got Kincaid, who I really think will be used more in this offense. So you are kind of risking a little bit because, I mean, when Jordan Love comes back, there's a chance Reed turns into a solid 2 or a flex option. Njoku is one of those guys I've always loved. But the injury and a lot of unknowns, and then there's a chance Bowers, I mean, if he does the same thing he did last week, you're really going to thank me. So yeah, pull trigger. But keep in mind, Njoku when he comes back is he's not going to be a bum. And Reed, you have an unknown. I mean, when Jordan Love comes back, Reed may be that guy who's like a solid 2. So. Yeah, I'm kind of glad Twitch came over, but yeah, Boston Van, let me know if you do make this trade. I would recommend it. I'm assuming you're not using Reed at all, and Njoku, I don't know the story on how long he's going to be out. So Joe Alt's going to shut down T.J. Watt. You heard it here first, brother. Dude, he shut out Max Crosby and Joe Alt. Honestly, Joe Alt should win Rookie of the Year. He won't. Right tackles don't win Rookie of the Year. He's playing that good. It's going to be a good matchup. This is probably at the 49ers. They're getting older, good players are getting injury issues. I really feel like the Niners should bit the bullet and trade or move on, mini tool or mini rebuild. They're in a lot of trouble the way that they have all their deals when it comes time to sign Brock Purdy, they're going to have to move or cut multiple guys. I really think that they put themselves in a really bad situation. I agree with you because I know what they're thinking that, hey, look, we're ready. We're going to roll everything, back to try to get back to a Super Bowl. I get that, but no. By the way, I'm so sorry. I'm really behind on comments. I got Denver Gator. All right. What's up, nerds? Anyone interested in tonight's game? Personally, I've always disliked both teams. I choose chaos. Jets lose tonight by 1. I'll tell you what. Keaton Talk Sports would hate that if his Patriots won. And you know how obnoxious he could be. Because he's coming back Monday. Do you really want him to come on Monday's show gloating about the Patriots being 2-1 and his Buckeyes being the best team in the world? Do you really want KTS to be that cocky? But we'll find out. Joe Alt is a freak. Jonnu Smith is his tight end, Dan. I think I lied. Are you talking about this guy? I got to offer ETN for Ramondre Stevenson. What do you think? Ooh, God, Alan Fleming. 2 guys I really, really love. Okay, let me break this down for you. I firmly believe that Ramondre is not going to stay healthy. You're 245. You run, tackle to tackle when you're, and he's also like 6'2". When you're that size, you just take so much punishment. It's so hard to stay healthy when you're that size. You're Travis Etienne, you're not. I mean, he does run between tackles occasionally, but he doesn't take that level of abuse. Now, as long as Ramondre Stevenson's healthy, it's some weeks Ramondre, some weeks Etienne. But I mean, I the one thing about Ramondre is he's more likely to get those touchdowns. Etienne's a little more likely to get reception. So it's like, what's the best flavor, strawberry or chocolate? Somebody will tell you chocolate. Somebody will tell you strawberry. The one thing about Ramondre Stevenson is if you're 2-0 and your running back room is good and you're just trying to set yourself up for the playoffs, I might make this move. I really like Ramondre Stevenson as long as he is healthy. I really like Ramondre Stevenson as long as he is healthy. I do think he's much more likely towards the middle of the season to break down. I'm just giving you a heads up. Like, out of the two, if I was okay, so Jacksonville this week is playing Buffalo, and they're playing on Monday night. I like having a guy play on Monday night, just personal preference. It means nothing logically. It's a little more fun. After this week, I'm assuming, are you trying to make this trade before Thursday night football? There's a lot of questions I'd have to unpack. But if you're doing it just for this week and like, hey man, because I do think Etienne, there's a very good chance Etienne may outperform Ramondre this week. I say that because I think the Bills are going to win. I think they're going to win, pretty much going away. But I can see a situation where Etienne's used a lot more in the passing game. I'm assuming it's a PPR league. I'm just assuming. So I think Etienne may get more points. Ramondre's more likely to score a touchdown. If you need this advice for tonight, maybe I have some questions. Right now, today, I would be a little hesitant to do it just because I just look. You have a guy that's more likely to score touchdowns than Ramondre. You have a guy that's more likely to get receptions. His health is more likely to stay healthy throughout the whole year. And Travis Etienne, I'm not giving you a good answer. I'm sorry. The answer, I'm going to level with you. I really like Ramondre Stevenson as long as he is healthy. I like both running backs, though. I don't think you're making a mistake either way. Like I said, it's kind of what flavor you like. I will say this though, like if you're 2-0 and you're building your team to stay healthy for the playoffs, maybe go ahead. If you're 1-1, 0-2, I would hold off. I would really hold off. I do think Ramondre Stevenson will score tonight. I think there's a good chance. I mean, he's a big running back. You want to protect your quarterback. You're a run-powered team. Jacksonville's a passing team. So hopefully that helps. Alt's very quickly going to become the best right tackle in football. Yeah, right now, John Alt's the best rookie in football. He won't win Rookie of the Year, but he is the best. BH! God, I'm glad to see you again, man. It's so good to see. I love seeing guys coming back, man. Thank you so much. Got offered Davante Adams and Rachaad White for Carr, Jordan Mason, and Waddle or Amon. Okay, hold on. Let me back up because this is a good one. Got offered Davante Adams and Rachaad White, two guys I like, for Carr, you got Carr, you got Jordan Mason and Waddle, or Amon-Ra, or Amon-Ra and Swift for Carr, Jordan Mason, and Waddle. Which one should I take? So I'm assuming in doing a move like this, what you're trying to do is unload Waddle. I get why. I'm assuming your quarterback and running back situation is good. Okay. I have a man crush on Rachaad White. Going to catch a lot of passes. I know he's splitting sometime. Bucky Irvin still thinks he goes over 1,000. I don't know why they don't use Swift more in Chicago. Amon-Ra is a guy that I also firmly believe that needs to be used more in Detroit. So I'm assuming you just want to get rid of these three guys because you're making multiple offers. Okay. I think you have out of these two trades, I like the Amon-Ra and Swift a little better. A little more, because I think with Amon-Ra, you got a guy that's your lock to be number one. I mean, this is a guy who's number one. I know production's dipped a little bit. I think it'll get back on track. I mean, Detroit, Amon-Ra is the number one dude in an offense that it's kind of weird, because if I'm Detroit, I would be more of a run first team, but they're more of a balanced team. Amon-Ra is your number one option. Plus, the one thing I like about Detroit is that it may change, but as of right now, they're a team that has a defense that's struggling. So I like that. The thing is with Swift is that I also think you have more upside with Swift than Rachaad White. And I have a huge man crush on Rachaad White. They're using Bucky Irvin more. I still think Rachaad White will get 1,000. They also use him quite a bit in the passing game. But the thing is with Swift is that you have more upside with Swift. And for the life of me, I'm going to level with you. Maybe this is me projecting my wants. I don't know why, but if I'm Chicago, I figure a way to get Swift 20 to 25 touches every single game, because Caleb Williams is not figuring out how to be an NFL quarterback. It looks very obvious to me watching him play 2 games that he thinks the same stuff that he did, and I don't want to say stuff, but I'm going to keep it family friendly, that he did at USC is going to work in the NFL, and it's proven not to. I think you could hit a home run here with Amon-Ra and get a legitimate number one receiver, and you could get Swift, who right now I think is a running back 2, flex 2, maybe even on the bench. You may get a guy who could be a solid running back number 2, maybe even a 1. You're getting much more upside with Swift than you are with White. White will get you more consistent points. I think Rachaad White will have a good game this week. Drawing a blank. Who's Chicago playing this week? I think I'm almost positive I picked them to lose. Okay, they play Indianapolis this week. Indianapolis has given up 473 yards rushing in 2 games. You make this move now, find a way to get Swift in your starting lineup, get Amon-Ra in your starting lineup, and I'm guessing that you don't have Carr, Mason, or Waddle. So I would go Amon-Ra and Swift. Figure a way to get Swift into your lineup, even if you got to put him in at flex. Amon-Ra, you got to start Amon-Ra, and you should be in really, really, really good shape. Let me know. But yeah, I would go with Amon-Ra and Swift. I like both options, to tell you the truth. But I would do Amon-Ra and Swift. And if there's a chance that Chicago is doing what I think they should, and use Swift more, you're going to really thank me. CC, thanks, brother. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's something Denver Gator brought up to me. He's like, dude, tell people to subscribe more often. But thank you. It really helps out. It really does. Picked up Jonnu Smith for the week since Hunter torched Seattle last week. It's actually, it was funny because somebody brought up last week, or it was against Buffalo. He had 2 prop bets. He had James Cook, and I liked, and he had Jonnu Smith 15. I was like, I don't know about Jonnu Smith because Miami doesn't like throwing to the tight ends. Some guy trolled me about it, and I said, look, all I said is I liked Cook more, and Cook hit Jonnu Smith 15 yards, and that was a prop bet. I get why you would want to start Jonnu. I'm just giving you a fair warning. You have a backup quarterback and an offense that traditional. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. You have an offense that traditionally doesn't use a tight end, so just be careful. Amon-Ra St. Brown, come on, Dan. You're right. I should know that. I'm sorry. Would I trade DJ Moore for Jordan Mason? No. I know I just got done saying, Caleb Williams needs to figure some things out and all that, but still, Rome Oduzie's banged up. Keenan Allen's banged up. He's still the option number 1. Even when those 2 guys come back, I would still keep them. The thing is with Jordan Mason is I just got done running down how San Francisco's probably not going to bring CMC back till week 9. When CMC does come back though, Jordan Mason's going to go from being the main guy to being a 5 to 8. Touch guy game, DJ Moore's still legitimate 1 or 2. There's a few caveats here. I mean, is your receiving core just loaded? Do you need a running back? There's a few options in there. I'm behind on comments, but if you can give me a little more right off the top of my head, I'm going to say no. Is your receiving core just loaded? I mean, do you just have a ton of guys, and are you needing help at running back? Because if that's the case, then maybe yeah. I mean, if you're somebody who has, for example, Isaiah Pacheco that you're banking on, if you have CMC, for example. I have some questions, but yeah, I'm so embarrassed. Why didn't I know that? Do you think A-Rod can return? Absolutely. I don't know if it's this week, but I mean, I do think he can return. And here's the drill. I mean, you got weapons. I mean, you have a really good offensive line. Breece Hall, I think, is an MVP candidate. He's got to do a little more, of course. You got Garrett Wilson. Mike Williams has got talent. The other receiver, I'm drawing a blank, who's a rookie 3rd-round pick. Malachi Corley, if I remember correctly. He moved in with Aaron Rodgers. Remember, he moved in with Aaron Rodgers during the offseason. I don't know the whole story of he's banged up or what the deal is, but he's got a world of potential, was living with Aaron Rodgers for a while. So, yeah, absolutely. Do I think he's going to go for 304 touchdowns against the Patriots? No, I don't. But can he return? Yeah, he can. He may not be the same guy, who's throwing for 48 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, but can he be, somewhere between 10 and 12, like the top 10 to 12 quarterbacks in the National Football League? Absolutely. Yeah. Sunday night, I haven't set the live stream up yet. I'm going to go on 5 minutes before. If I remember correctly, it'll be me and you are in the same time zone, so it'll be 5:15 if I'm correct. I haven't set up the live stream yet. I'm probably going to do it tonight after Thursday night football, and I kind of want to promote it like on Friday's breakdown show. But Perry, I hope I see you there. I would go with Henry unless Johnson. Yeah, yeah. And this is, by the way, Hunter Henry or Laporta, and he's saying Johnson because Johnson's offensive coordinator there. Yeah. He's sometimes you get all that money and then the next thing you know, you drop some things. So would I trade CMC and Ayuk for Bijan Robinson and Chase? Yes, absolutely. Chase will be more productive than Ayuk, and then Bijan Robinson. Keep in mind, Bijan Robinson may have a tough time against Kansas City, but Chase will I think it's a must start this week. And I think throughout the, even though Ayuk's going to have some good, so keep in mind, Ayuk and Chase, two guys that have struggled early on. Both are going to start putting up some big numbers, but CMC could be out for till about week 10. But John Robinson's going to be the guy I really think that they're going to try to force feed in Atlanta. So absolutely. Great question, man. Good question. Chef Lobby. Should I start Josh Jacobs or Stevenson? Vinny Wynn. God, what a great question. This is a tough one because I'm gushing all over Stevenson. So I heard Jordan Love's practicing. Okay, so I'm hearing Jordan Love is practicing. All right, so I'm hearing Jordan Love is practicing, and I liked what they did with Malik Willis last week, but they asked him to throw the ball 12 times, and they kind of leading on Jacobs. I could see them doing the same thing and just eating. Josh, this could be a situation where Josh Jacobs gets like 30 touches, and you've been listening to me. I have no faith that Tennessee is going to be a good team. The defense is actually playing pretty good there in Nashville, and they're at home. I've gushed all over Stevenson and the Jets defense, but Jets defense isn't playing up to par. I can argue both. I can argue both. I really, really can argue both. I would lean towards Stevenson. And the only reason I'm leaning towards Stevenson is I could see a situation in Tennessee. Remember, they traded Malik Willis to Green Bay during the preseason for almost nothing. I could see a situation where Tennessee just says, you know what? We're just going to play goal line defense, press man, and take away the run, which Tennessee has the ability to do that. They got some really big bodies. And I could see them doing that and just saying, look, we have a bad team. Our offense is struggling. We feel like we can get a turnover or two out of Willis, and that may be the difference in the game. And I could seriously see Tennessee doing that. I know what you're thinking. Hey, could the Jets do the same thing and try to make Jacoby Brissett beat us? There's a big difference between Jacoby Brissett and Malik Willis. I know Malik Willis won a game, played well. Brissett's capable of being a starter in the NFL. Malik Willis is not right now. Down the line, this may change. I would go with Stevenson. By the way, I would lean towards Stevenson. If you decide that you want to go with Jacobs, I wouldn't hate you. But I would lean towards Stevenson. I think both are solid options, though. Both are solid options. Youngstar 210. My friend dropped Mostert, and I have Tua on my bench. Should I drop? I'm assuming Tua for Mostert and save him on my bench. I would. Tua's out at least for 4. Somebody gets through Tua's head and tells him that do something else. So yes, absolutely. I believe Mostert is going to play this week, and if he does, I mean, there's a few questions, but more than likely that's probably a guy that's going to start for you. So, what kind of are you talking about? This comment? But Perry's a longtime regular, man. He's one of my buddies. I'm not sure which comment you're referring to, though. You're talking about, I'm not really sure what you're referring to, man. So one thing about the what I was saying about the Bears is that, remember they used the first round pick last year on Anthony Wright, and he's solid at right tackle. They have Braxton Jones, who's a very solid left tackle. I get why you're saying that, but one thing that I was adamant on, Zach Frazier looks like he's going to be a Pro Bowl center, and the Steelers got him in the 3rd round. What's the guy's name? It was funny because before the draft came out, he said, I'm a left tackle. I have to be a left tackle. Packers drafted him in the 1st round. I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name. I want to say it's Jordan Mason, but I don't think that's it. They're starting him at guard. Cooper Beebe, or Zach Frazier is a 2nd round pick for the Steelers, 2nd or 3rd. He looks like he's going to be a Pro Bowl center. Cooper Beebe is starting, for the Cowboys. The Bears, instead of drafting Oduzze, who had a major man crush on, should have upgraded their offensive line. But I will say this: I think Caleb Williams, I predicted, would be a bust, and I was kind of backtracking on it. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, and Alt looks like a stud right now. He's my rookie of the year, Joe Alt. Will he win it? No, but yeah. The Jets, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. But yes, if the Jets lose, New York will burst into flames, and it will be entertaining. That's why we're getting yeah. You don't have a I'm gonna give you a wrench. I'm gonna give you a wrench. Someone offered to trade me Jacobs for CMC. I would make that trade. Yeah, make that trade. What are some good trades to do with CMC owners? If you can get Josh Jacobs, I would do that. I'm flexing McBride. Should I be flexing Ryan Robinson? So here's the deal, Houdini. This is a great one. So here's the drill. I've always been a big fan of running backs over tight ends at the flex position. That said, McBride could have a huge game against Detroit. I really like McBride's game, especially with Marvin Harrison Jr. opening things up downfield. I think that Marvin Harrison Jr.'s success only helps McBride. What I'm scared is that I'm saying yes, but I'm really scared McBride's going to have like a 8-catch, 86-yard, 1-touchdown performance, and you're going to be losing 20 points. But the thing is with Brian Robinson is that even though I fully expect Washington to lose to Cincinnati, I could easily see. I mean, here's the drill. Brian Robinson can get you 15 to 20 touches. McBride, no matter what, I mean, best case scenario, he's getting you 10. By the way, if he gets you 10 touches and McBride gets 10 touches in that game, you're gonna be really pissed at me. Here I am. I get you. By the way, I hope you subscribed. You're gonna be really pissed at me. And I don't want that to happen. And I think McBride is a guy, like if I was going to rank my tight ends, I'd be like, yeah, you want to start McBride this week against the Lions. You really want to start McBride. But still I would put Brian Robinson in there instead. The potential for 15 to 25 touches is there. Keep in mind too, you could easily see a garbage time touchdown. I mean, look, listen, goal line situations. I know Jaden Daniels has been running the ball quite a bit, but you're going to use the big physical running back, and they're using him a little more in the passing game, which I also like. I really like. So yeah, I would flex Brian Robinson instead. If you decide, hey, Dan, nah, I'm going to go with McBride. I like the matchup. I wouldn't blame you one bit. It's just if you have an opportunity to get a running back who's going to get 15 to 25 touches, and that's kind of what you're looking at versus McBride at maximum is going to get 10. That's kind of my logic. I was thinking about benching Laporta till he proves to me to start again. Don't get me wrong, it's not his fault, but I didn't know until now that Funk was saying he's got a thigh injury. I didn't know that. And if that's the case, I can see it, but I would wait. McBride's a guy that with Marvin Harrison Jr. having that breakout performance last week will benefit. So I do like that. So Perry, I'm going to give you a wrench after today's show. It won't, right after I get done watching Thursday Night Football come in. I should have done it a long time ago. Sorry I didn't do it sooner. I messed up. I'm not, I have to look up. It's been a while, but yeah, I'll give you one. Dan talks football. Who do I start this week? Jackson Smith and Jigba, Calvin Ridley, or Zach Moss? Oh man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna kind of double down on what I've been saying. I like running backs because you get the potential to go with more, but I really like Zach Moss in this game with Washington. And the reason why I say that is I think Cincinnati is going to win this game. I think Zach Moss is going to score. The Titans, I firmly believe, will make a quarterback change sooner than later. I really believe that. By the way, Denver Gator is here. Don't ever say anything bad about Will Levis to Denver Gator. Denver Gator puts mayonnaise in his coffee now because Will Levis does it. By the way, it's the most disgusting thing in the whole world. It makes my stomach curl just thinking about it. But thing is with Jackson Smith and Jigba is that if Walker comes back, there's a good chance that his carries or his touches are going to go way down. You also have Tyler Lockett. You also have DK Metcalf there. I know he got over 100 last week. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. A lot of inconsistency. I mean, he could be a guy who goes for 125 and 2 touchdowns. He could also go for 30 yards and in like 2 catches. I mean, you're all over the place with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I have no faith in Ridley. You're basically you eliminate Ridley immediately. And by the way, if he has a good game, maybe Levis gets benched. I don't know. But I like the running back option. You have a good chance for a score. They really haven't been using him right, Zach Moss. But I think you have a chance to get 15 to 20 touches and a score this week. You're probably, unless Jackson Smith and Jigba, they just, blow up, but I'm leaning towards Zach Moss. But if you want Jackson Smith and Jigba, I wouldn't be mad at you. Well, I don't think they're going to move on from this year, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if So let's say the Jets go 8-9, 9-8. They don't make the playoffs. Salah will be fired, and more than likely, they could be in a situation where they say, "Hey, look, this didn't really work out. We're going to draft a quarterback. We're going to move on." I could see it, but not this year. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. But here's the deal: if they do lose, the New York will just explode. I think Robert Saleh is done with the Jets. Once he can get the Jets at AFC, unless he can get to the Jets at AFC Championship game, I feel like being a wild card won't cut it on paper. Yeah, you're right. On paper, I mean, he's like big time hot seat. And if they lose tonight, ooh boy, Bryce. Perry, good even. Sit one. Olave, Wilson, Nico, or Ayak. Ooh, man, what a tough one. Okay, you got to start Nico first off. This is tough because I'm leaning towards Olave. Nico's a must. You got Garrett Wilson. Now, I can see a situation where they tell Christian Gonzalez if Garrett Wilson sits down, you sit down next to him. If he scratches his left ear, you scratch your. I could see that type of situation. I could see them saying, you know what, we're going to have Aaron Rodgers is going to have to beat you with somebody who's not Garrett Wilson. I could see that. There's a lot of banged up players on San Francisco, and the Rams are kind of beat up. You got to sit one. I'm leaning towards Garrett Wilson, and the only reason why is that I could easily see New England just taking Gonzalez and just saying, "Hey, you're on Wilson," and they've done this before. They did that last year with Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill had like 4 catches, 34 yards. So I'm leaning towards Garrett Wilson, even though Aaron Rodgers seems to really like Wilson. That's a tough one, Bryce. Great question, man. Great question. KTS! Bears better find a way to protect Williams better, or else we won't. Yeah, I agree. I've said this. I don't know why they're not using DeAndre Swift more. Looks like there was some really – Zach Frazier looks like a Pro Bowl center already with the Steelers. I mean, he looks really, 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 really good. Really, really good. So, but if things stay the same in Chicago, which I'm not expecting, then you could have if things stay the same, which I'm not expecting, but let's say they do, you have got to get some help on that interior offensive line. All right. Okay. I'm not as bad on comments as I thought I was. So thank you everybody for dealing with me getting behind and going on rants and stuff. So just want to say I'm so glad to have Keaton Talk Sports in the chat. Keaton Talk Sports is going to join me Monday. Keaton Talk Sports is a huge Chiefs fan and is pulling for the Jets tonight. None of that is true. So, except for the fact that he is planning on joining me Monday. Do I flex Ford or Diggs full PPR? Ford, absolutely. They're not using Diggs much in Houston. You also have a tough matchup in Minnesota. But the thing is with Ford, until Nick Chubb comes back, Ford's a guy that could get 20 to 25 touches. Diggs could easily do 3 catches, 25 yards. Ford is definitely going to get you some more points. Do I expect Houston to try to incorporate Diggs more into their offense? Absolutely. But do I believe that Ford's better option, 100%. Now, don't get me wrong. If Diggs returns to, remember he started his career in Minnesota. If Diggs has 80 yards and a touchdown, and Ford gets kind of shut down. Giants defense is a little better than people think, by the way, but I really think Ford could have a big game. So I would go Ford. And by the way, I mean, what's like, yeah, Diggs could have 80 yards and a touchdown, but I mean, you're looking at what? A maximum of 8 touches versus Ford, you could have 30. That's not exaggerating either. I mean, you got one. By the way, if both tackles return, and I haven't had a chance to check this out yet, Garrett, I apologize, but both tackles return for Cleveland, that offense is going to look radically different. That offense is going to look radically different. It's going to open up more, which allows for opportunities both in the run and the passing game. Ford, if both tackles return, Ford could be like a guy that gets you, 25 touches, 150 yards, and a touchdown. And you could pretend this could be a 20-point difference in Ford. So I would really, really encourage you to go with Ford. Really, really would. If I'm the 49ers GM and Shanahan, I'm hoping Robert Saleh gets fired with the Jets. If Saleh gets fired with teams, could use him as a DC. Everybody. I seriously, if Saleh got fired, and because I've been saying this for a couple of years now, and if things don't improve, I think you move on from Aaron Glenn. But if I was Detroit and Saleh gets fired, that's the guy I want. If I was Detroit, I would bring in Robert Saleh immediately. And the best part is that Robert Saleh's that wide 9 defense that's a defense that Aiden Hutchinson would excel in. If Saleh got fired, I think Detroit would be. I'll now keep in mind if Aaron Glenn turns Detroit into a top 10 defense, okay, forget it. But here's I'm looking at the Detroit Lions defense as a whole, and the Robert Saleh defensive scheme in Detroit would fit like a T. Specifically with Teron Arnold, because what you want's bigger corners to play more of a zone defense. And Teron Arnold, remember, he played free safety, and he's just learning how to play corner. I mean, any team that needs a defense, Carolina's a possibility because, I mean, they're going to move on from Evero, and they're going to move on from Evero, and that's not really his fault, by the way. Derek Brown got hurt, and they lost like 4 or 5 starters on that defense. Really good players, too. So Carolina's an option. Another thing is with Saleh, the reason why Carolina would be appealing is because Canales came in with almost no experience. Canales could easily be a scapegoat if halfway through the season they start off 0-6. Well, you have Robert Saleh who could come in. And another thing that's positive about Carolina is that they're going to draft really high. And if you decide that you want to keep Bryce Young, which doesn't look like it, but let's just say you do, you could potentially get a stud defensive player very early in this draft. Plus, you have the obvious possibility of taking over as the main guy in Carolina. Let's be honest, that New York job is not a good job to have. It really isn't. All right. And it's a media market. You had to make things work with Rodgers. Great defense. But you're kind of forced Rodgers. You're forced the offensive coordinator Rodgers wanted. A team like Carolina, you go into Carolina and Canales gets off to a bad start. Oh, guess what? I got a new head coaching job. By the way, Derek Brown, he would be able to work in that defense. But any team that needs a defensive coordinator. Oh yeah, McBride does look like one of Murray's best targets. Do you think Harrison Jr. will go off again against the Lions? I can't wait to see that matchup, and the reason why I can't wait to see that matchup because he's probably going to go one-on-one against Terrion Arnold. You'll see a battle of rookies. I think it's going to be a great matchup. We'll find out. This could be the game where Terrion Arnold says, you know what, I'm a pretty good player too. And maybe I'm going to prove to you guys I deserve to be, a top 10 pick. Remember going into the draft early, a lot of people thought Terrion Arnold was going to go top 10. A lot of people thought he was going to go top 10. Maybe he goes against Marvin Harrison Jr. and just shuts him down. Who knows? We'll find out. Keaton from Keaton Talk Sports, he did a picks video. He predicts 31-30 Lions and I was like, man, high scoring game. Because if that's the case, then Harrison Jr. probably has a 100-yard game again. So Perry wants to know who you're starting, but I definitely would go with Ford. At Keaton, what are your thoughts on tonight's game? What are your keys for a Pats and Jets win? Knowing this matchup, I expect it to be a low-scoring game. Pats are 4th in rushing. Jets are bottom 5 in stopping the run. If we can keep Rodgers in that pocket, we can have a shot of winning. I love it. Man, that is just, what a great answer. What a great answer from Keaton Talk Sports. Big-time Jets fan. God, he probably beat me up for saying that. Keaton Talk Sports, the plan is to have him come back on Monday. So you'll be seeing Keaton Talk Sports again on Monday. That's the plan for right now. Hopefully things work out. So listen, guys, a great hour number 2 is in the books. The final hour of Afternoon Delight is coming. Let me do my quick commercial break, and I will be right back with the final hour of Afternoon Delight. My award-winning NFL Weekly Picks video is out. Now, don't watch it right now. This is just a small commercial break as I'm using the bathroom. More than likely, I'm fixing my hair. But make sure you do check it out. It's fantastic. As Afternoon Delight takes a commercial break, we remind you that BetUS is a proud affiliate. The video in the description below shows how easy and fast it is to collect your bonus. Click on the link in the description below and start winning today. Yes! Oh, man. The final hour of Afternoon Delight is here. I can't thank you guys enough for joining. It's my favorite thing in the world. Just join and talk football. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do is just come on, talk some football with you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my God, look at this. Look at my boy Denver Gator. Hey chat, if you're enjoying some Afternoon Delight, like and subscribe, even share the channel. Let's grow this community, help Dan out. Thank you so much, Denver Gator. Thank you so much. What a great show. Some great questions. By the way, somebody reached out to me on X yesterday, brought up a trade scenario. I recommended it. Then they sent me a picture of them accepting the trade. I really think it's going to help out. So after the show, if there's a trade that you have, you can hit me up either on X, Instagram. You can drop a comment on YouTube. I check my comments all the time. You can go old school and email me. The one thing I do want to point out is that if you have a comment or a question about Thursday night football, make sure you get it in now, because after the live stream, I'll be incommunicado until after I finish watching Thursday night football, which will be late tonight. But if you have a question about Sunday's matchups, drop a DM, email, put a comment, and I'll get to you before Friday's show. You can always, even though Friday's going to be kind of a recap of the games, I kind of want to go over all Sunday's matchups. If you have fantasy football question for Sunday that you didn't get to today, hit me up tomorrow. Not a problem. Little love from Perry to Denver Gator and Keaton. God, man, it's so good to see you guys in the chat. Slasher, great question. Do you think Kareem Hunt is going to help you guys in any way, Dan, or is he just about in case somebody gets injured? So right now, it's kind of a fluke thing, but a couple years ago we drafted Carlos Edwards Hilaire, CEH. I'll get that correct. Definition of bust. We draft Pacheco. Pacheco outplays him, becomes the starter. CEH is on injury reserve. It's kind of a weird situation. Has I'm going to call it a mental disorder. They called it something like PTSD or some shit. I'm not trying to belittle him. It's just a little unusual. Look, I'm just going to level with you. So he's out. And they signed him to a 1-year deal after being a first round pick. Kind of it was like a 1-year, $1 million deal. When you're a first round pick, instead of getting that 5th year option, signing a 1-year, $1 million deal, it's not really that good of a deal, but it was a chance for CEH to prove that he can be a starting running back in the NFL. They can contribute. Then he misses 4 games. Okay, it's not that big of a deal because Pacheco's going to come in. Well, Pacheco goes down. So option number 1 and option number 2 are out. They signed Samurai P. Ryan, who was cut by Denver. I was thinking we would activate Keontae Ingram, a former 6th-round draft pick, guy I really liked. A guy I really, really liked. I thought there was a chance he may get activated. But as of right now, Slasher, it looks like they're preparing Kareem Hunt to play in Sunday's game. And I'm keeping an eye out because this is a guy that may potentially get 15 to 20 touches Sunday. And a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, you're just picking up this running back out of nowhere and he's going to get 15 to 20 touches. Well, he started his career in Kansas City. Andy Reid said before they signed him, they reached out around the NFL. They reached around, specifically he was last in Cleveland. Keep in mind, Andy Reid, there's a lot of jokes that, everybody wants the Chiefs to lose, and I get that, but there's a lot of respect for Andy Reid and the Chiefs organization around the NFL. It kind of is a brotherhood. They reached out to former players, and apparently everybody across the board has been pretty high on Kareem Hunt. One thing you have to understand is that the Chiefs have one of the better offensive lines in football, and it's a big physical offensive line. And with 15 back there, you can take a running back who's got some talent and he can help. It looks like Kareem Hunt's going to be a big part. I really believe that. I remember his rookie season. I mean, he went to the Pro Bowl. He was one of the best running backs in football. If you don't know the whole story, Kareem Hunt was caught on video kicking a girl. The issue the Chiefs organization had was that he lied to the Chiefs about the whole situation. He swore up and down there's no tape, there's no incident. Then the Chiefs see it. They cut him immediately. That's kind of standard operating procedure. Giving the guy another chance. I think it's a good move for the Chiefs organization. This could be a great move for both Kareem Hunt and the Chiefs. I actually do think he could. I saw a clip of him. He's wearing number 29. He was 27 with the Chiefs. That's Tramari Connor's got that number now. Bottom line, CEH has been a complete disaster as a first-round pick. It wouldn't surprise me at all if, when his contract's up, it's a 1-year deal. Chiefs don't even try to re-sign him. Pacheco's the main guy. Pacheco is okay. So a lot of people think that IR means it's 4 weeks and you're back. That's not the case with Pacheco. Pacheco's more of a 6 to 8 week injury. It's just they do want him to come back. They want Pacheco to come back for the playoffs, but I mean he's out for about 2 months. P. Ryan was a guy that we just picked up, so I was telling people listen, P. Ryan may be somebody you want to stash to get potentially get 20 touches against Atlanta. I'm paying attention to this very closely, but do I think he's going to help? The answer is yes. I really do. And I think he may help right away. It looks like they're going to elevate him to the 53. Not official. It's not official. Kareem Hunt hasn't been elevated to the 53 as of right now. It looks like that's what's going to happen. Hey, Perry. Hey, Keaton. Hey, Slasher. Hey, rest of the new names. Denver Gator, thanks for giving some love out to everybody. Thanks for giving some love out to everybody. And thank you very much for giving the message out to make sure you hit that like and subscribe. It really does help me out. I want to watch the world burn. LOL, Pats by 1. Not a prediction because I can't see either team. By the way, the world would completely burn. The world would completely burn if the Jets lose. New York will be a disaster. I think it's going to be a fun game. I really think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a good game. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Perry says, I think the Pats can win this game. I feel like the Pats need to run the ball with Stevenson and Gibson. To keep the Jets offense off the field. Running the ball will wear down the Jets defense and absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's kind of what I think you're going to see. And that's why, I think Stevenson's a guy that even though the Jets traditionally, last year the Jets may have had the best defense in football. I really firmly believe that this is the year that, you want to have the maybe it's not the same defense. I don't know all the answers, but I will say this. Even if the Jets defense is good, I think the game plan has to be to run the ball quite a bit. And that's what the Patriots' identity is now. It's now just running the ball, playing good defense. Ramondre Stevenson's a big, powerful runner. And Antonio Gibson, now keep in mind, he played receiver at Memphis. But as soon as he was drafted, he's a 6'2", 220-pound receiver. They said, no, you're going to play running back. And he told them that right away, put on some weight. Fell out of favor with Washington for whatever reason. I never understood it because it looked like he was going to be a really, really good player. And, for whatever reason, Ron Rivera just didn't want him. I don't know all the answers. So, Whoops, sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a fun game. I'm really, really excited about this game. I'm really, really excited about this game. It's going to be a good one. Hey, Denver Gator, hope everything is good with you. A little love here. Glenn, our defensive coordinator, has got the defense playing better, but I'm still not sold on him. I think Campbell and Holmes need to get a better defensive. I've been saying this for a while, Perry. For those of you who don't know, Perry's a Lions fan. Absolutely. I forget what it is, but Saleh did interview for the Lions head coaching job before he took the Jets job. I don't remember. If I remember correctly, Saleh took the Jets job before Campbell took the Lions job, but Robert Saleh does have some ties to Detroit. And I look at the Lions defense. That defense is built for Saleh's defense. Like the Lions and Saleh would fit perfectly. I think Saleh and Dan Campbell would fit perfectly together. I really, 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 really believe that this would work out. Yeah. Keep in mind, Saleh goes 2-1. You know, the Jets, play early. They get some rest before next week. They're in good shape. So, guys, if you use BetUS, if you want to bet on games and other sports, it'll help Dan if you do. Yes, Perry, thank you so much. I do have an affiliation with BetUS. A lot of guys just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I actually opened my own account with them. Now, this summer, they reached out to me as an affiliate deal. So, full disclosure, if you sign up for BetUS, use the link below. I do make money off of it, full disclosure. But I know a lot of people that BetUS have reached out to, and a lot of them are like, yeah, I don't even bet on sports. And it's like, okay. I made a couple bets week 1. I didn't bet anything week 2. I'm going to kind of wait till tomorrow, but there's a couple bets I kind of like for week 3. I haven't placed any action down yet, and I don't like anything on Thursday night. Thursday night's kind of wait and see. I'm leaning towards the over. I'm leaning towards the Patriots covering 6.5. But nothing I want to bet on. But BetUS, I opened up my own account. I made a video, and I have that below, where I made my first $100 deposit. It's really simple. It's really easy. They have a lot of different promotions. The one I would recommend is they have a 20% bonus. I think it's capped at $2,500. So my $100 deposit instantly became $120. It's that easy. It took literally just a few minutes to set everything up. So, but yeah, it was really cool. Right now, they offered a $25 free bet, which was really, really cool. I won that bet, and then I won my first 2 bets. So currently, with that $20 that got added on, I have $190 and some change off that $100 deposit. Haven't put a bet down for week 3 yet, but there is a few games I like, and I'll get into that more Friday. Yeah, I think Hunt can help Kansas City. I think having Hunt on the practice. So here's the drill. It actually looks like he's going to play Sunday. I'm trying to find out, but I've been like the Chiefs have him in practice. We'll have to wait and see. He could play Sunday. I'm kind of keeping an eye out on it because he could be a guy that you want to pick up for fantasy football and paying attention. Do you think Carson, the man of steel, would get more reps? maybe. I think they kind of like him as a short yardage special teams type player. I really thought Samurai P. Ryan may get 20 touches. Now if Kareem Hunt plays, that will be cut. But you're right, the Pacheco injury is a big blow. Are you happy with the left tackle you guys took in the draft so far? I think I'm very happy with him. He gave up 2 sacks to Hendrickson last week. Hendrickson is one of the best sacked guys. He had 17 and a half sacks last year. I butchered up the way I said it. But look, he had 17 and a half sacks last year. He's one of the best pass rushers in football. He got 2 against a rookie left tackle. I don't have too much of a problem with it. Wanya Morris, who had the touchdown reception in the game, there's some talk because this was a training camp battle that I'm butchering the name. His name's Saya Matea. That it's Penei Sewell's cousin. He's starting left tackle of the Chiefs. He's a rookie. There's some debate that Wanda Morris may take over as starting left tackle. But even if that happens, I'm still very happy with him. He's got massive upside, and I think he'll be a very, very good left tackle for years to come. I think that even though there's talk about benching him, that he'll start against Atlanta, and I think he'll have a good game. Matthew Judon's no joke, though. Matthew Judon's no joke, and that's a matchup I expect to watch quite a bit because if Judon's causing him problems, it's going to affect the whole Chiefs offense. But I think the Chiefs will counter by running the ball more. That's kind of why I'm paying attention to Kareem Hunt thing, because I think this is going to be whoever's playing running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. I expect to get a lot of touches, and it'll be a weapon in fantasy. They can use three times to bring them up before they need them, or the practice squad to bring. So the way I understand, what the Chiefs are doing is that they currently have on the practice squad. I've been following this. I've been looking up some things. In early on in camp or in practice, he's looked sharp. I saw some clips of him. He looks like he's in football shape. The limited amount of film that I saw, he looks good. I mean, he looks good. And it's something that the Chiefs are happy. When the Chiefs worked him out, they thought he was in good shape. So everything looks pretty good on Kareem Hunt. There's a very good chance he's going to play Sunday. I would have told you when they first signed him, he's not going to play Sunday. He'll play next week. Fine. It looks like there's a very good chance that he could get some playing time Sunday, and I'm keeping an eye out. After I get done watching, so here's what I'm doing: Thursday night football. I'm going to watch Thursday night football. I'm going to set up Friday's live streams. I'm going to get some things set up for the live stream. Then I'm going to pay attention to hearing some more about Kareem Hunt and the Chiefs if he's going to play. So, by the way, I apologize. I'm losing my voice here. I'm losing my voice already, but I mean, this has been a great show, great time. So, Connor. Pick one PPR. All right. Christian Kirk, Ford, Jennings, Demarcus Robinson, Roma Duze, Dowdle, and Bills, GB, or Raiders defense this week. Okay. Okay, so let's do this here. Duze may not even play. Dowdle, I don't think it's a legitimate option. Demarcus Robinson's he's going to get the start and potentially have an opportunity for a big game. Not sold on Jennings. I've always liked Christian Kirk, but I firmly believe that they need to use Brian Thomas Jr. more. I don't know the whole story. I know Evan Ingram got injured in pregame workouts. I don't know the whole story about that. But I'm leveling with you. I mean, I know that you could use Dowdle potentially to get some carries. Let me double check this because I'm almost sure Dowdle's not getting you almost anything. For the season, 15 carries, 36 yards. Last week got you 7 for 30. 4 receptions, 29 yards. I mean, it's I'm gonna level with you. If it's a close game, Ezekiel Elliott's going to play. If it's a blowout, and it's probably not going to be a blowout against Baltimore. It's probably not going to be a blowout. So I'm just going to level with you. I really, really, really don't think he's going to play much. I'm going to level with you. Ford to me sticks out because Ford is a guy that I firmly believe is going to get 15 to 25 touches. I think New York's defense is a little better than most people think. Like the defense did play rather well the first 2 games of the season. I know they're 0-2. I know the offense is just so abysmal, but one thing is about Cleveland, and I should have been paying attention. I'm going to go into a little more detail about this tomorrow because I'm going to check out the injury reports after I get done setting up Friday's live stream. So if both their tackles come back healthy, Ford could have a monster game. And the reason why I say that is because when you have a bad offense like New York does, what do you want to do? Well, let's just run the ball, keep the offense off the field, limit the possessions, don't allow any cheap points. Well, how do you do that? Well, you run the ball and you control the clock. You don't mind going, when you're playing against the Giants, going 3 and out, it's not like the end of the world because what are the Giants going to do? Well, probably nothing. So, instead of taking chances, I could see them just force feeding Ford. There could be a situation where Ford gets about 20 to 25 touches, maybe over 25. Ford's the only guy on this list that you can look at and say, hey, this guy's getting 20 touches. Could get a touchdown too. Full disclosure, that Giants defense is better than people think. Bills, Packers, or Raiders defense this week? I can make a strong case for all 3 of them. God, that is a tough one. I mean, I really could. I could make a strong case for all 3. Green Bay's going against Tennessee. I think Tennessee's a disaster. I firmly believe Will Levis will get benched sooner than later. You're at home. You're going against a backup quarterback. I mean, there's talent there, but I just think it's mismanaged. I can see a situation where Green Bay just has a phenomenal game. I really do. Jaguars' offense has been terrible. Monday night in Buffalo is going to be a good one. I haven't checked the weather report on any one of these games, by the way, but Buffalo, let's be honest, Jacksonville's been beyond disappointing. The one thing I will say, though, is that, I mean, there's some players on Tennessee, but there's many more players on Jacksonville. Out of all the teams with the least amount of talent, of course, it's Carolina. Carolina goes against the Raiders. Now, Andy Dalton does play. I mean, I've been saying this for a while. Like, Andy Dalton's going to add something to this offense. I've been saying it for a while. Somebody posted out that per PFF, and by the way, if you're not aware, I despise PFF with a passion. Somebody pointed out that PFF says Carolina Panthers offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in football. Okay, so they said it, so it's probably not true. If the offensive line's playing well and Bryce Young is just god-awful, there is a chance Andy Dalton can do something. As a general rule of thumb, if you have a good defensive line and you're going against a backup quarterback and you're at home, these are all things that work in your favor. You can't. I'm a level with you, Connor. I think Ford is the answer. You can go with either one of these three defenses, and I think all three of them are solid. I predicted Carolina would cover the spread against the Raiders. I do think it's closer than people think. I think Andy Dalton will improve the offense immensely. I believe all these things. You're at home. Carolina's traveling across the country. Wilkins is a player. Max Crosby is a legitimate defensive player of the year candidate. I would go with the Raiders. You can't make a bad decision here, by the way. Whether you go Bills, Packers, or Raiders, all three of these are good. I kind of like the fact that you had the Bills on Monday night. I kind of like that. I like the fact that Green Bay's, going against a team that I think is going to be terrible. But, I mean, look, you're going again. You have a backup quarterback making his first start. I mean, I think he started He started last year. He actually played really well. But, man, you got that really good Raiders defensive line. You're at home. I'd lean towards the Raiders. Can't make a bad move. First part of the question, Ford, that's pretty easy for me. That's almost a no-brainer. Bills, Packers, Raiders defense, lean towards the Raiders. You can't make a bad decision there. Connor, let me know how you do, brother. Let me know how you do. Reports was Sal was not interested and interviewed bad. I could see him not interviewing bad. I could also see Salah just looking at Detroit at the time and going, yuck. If I remember correctly, though, I'd have to look this up. But if I remember correctly, at the time, Stafford was the quarterback. And then after Campbell took the job, that's when they traded and got some extra draft capital. I'd have to look that up, but I mean, I could see Salah at the time just going, I got Stafford. I have an aging defense. I have a quarterback. Remember, like it was his wife, it was Stafford's wife that was like, we want to go somewhere else. We want a fresh start. We don't want to be there. And then Stafford was like, I don't want to be part of a rebuilding project. I'm kind of ranting here a little bit, but Matthew Stafford's wife went on a couple podcasts recently. It was a couple weeks ago, maybe a month, and talked about how she dated the backup quarterback, which and kind of makes Stafford look bad. But do you remember all that stuff? Like like when they were interviewing head coaches, and Stafford's like, I don't want to be part of a rebuilding project. His wife was really adamant that she wanted out of Detroit. You remember all that stuff? So like Detroit was, out of all the teams that were available, like which one do you want to go to the least? Well, you have your franchise quarterback who was trying to get out. And then you had all sorts of holes on defense. You didn't have a lot of draft capital. Then all of a sudden you get Goff and some draft picks, and it's a great move. So, but I do know he interviewed, and I know he has some ties to Detroit. I don't remember what it is. But would Robert Saleh's defense flourish in Detroit? Absolutely. Absolutely. That would fit like a hand in the glove. And Aaron Glenn, has to get things turned around. I think has to get things turned around. For them to be mediocre this year is not acceptable. Team Bundy. Should I trade Mahomes and Ridley in London for Burrow and Chase? It's funny. Somebody asked the same thing last week. 10-man team is Mahomes, Jacobs, Connor, CD, London, Kincaid, DK, JMO. Bench Ridley, Carr, Ford, Worthy, Brooks. I remember this question. Yes. And I mean, I'm a huge Mahomes fan, but you have to understand something. With Ridley in London, you don't have a number one. You don't have a number one. You got number one in CD Lamb. So now you bank CD Lamb with Chase. Your receiving core is awesome. You have DK and you have JMO already. If one of these guys gets hurt, one of these guys can come in for you. I also like the Brooks on IR, keeping that quite a bit. I like this move. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I think Burrow is light years better than Mahomes. I don't think that at all. And I know Burrow, by the way, way outplayed Mahomes. Multiple reasons I like this. Amarius Mims could get the start at right tackle. That's going to improve your offensive line. Now, could he get hurt again? Sure. That was the whole reason why he was the 18th pick in the draft and not a top 5 pick. I absolutely would make this trade because Ridley and London are just dudes. Jamar Chase, by the way, Jamar Chase is a must start against a bad Washington secondary on Monday night. And I think Burrow and Chase combined may get you over 70 points. Combined may get you over 70. You're really I like this. Yeah, absolutely. Make this move. Make this move. Team Money, let me know if you pull that off. I remember you asked about this yesterday, but I would make this move. Man, I appreciate you, brother. Should I start New York's defense or the Raiders' defense? Bo Murphy Packers. I understand why you'd want to go to New York. I'm assuming you're talking Jets. By the way, let's say you're talking Giants. If you're talking Giants, pay attention to the injury report, because if you're going against a couple of backup tackles, it may change your thought process. I still would go to Raiders because even though Dalton's experienced, it's his first start. I don't care what PFF says. That Carolina offensive line, I don't care if they are the 5th rated best offensive line. They can't be playing well. They really can't. So I would lean towards the Raiders. But I'm assuming you mean Jets. But if you mean Giants, the only thing that would make me pause is that if I'm going against a couple of backup tackles and I got those pass rushers, but I would go with the Raiders. I mean, you're at home. Your defensive line's awesome. You're going against backup quarterback. Yeah, Andy Dalton, I think will improve that offense immensely. I still would go with the Raiders. The Ravens don't have a good season. Does Harbaugh get fired or leave? He won't get fired. He's had way too much success. They've been very high on Harbaugh over the years. Would Harbaugh want to leave and maybe do TV for a year? Sure. Would he? I wouldn't think it, but I mean, we've been seeing this. I mean, is there a college job that would want to offer him more money? Perry, you know where I'm going with this, right? You know where I'm going with this, right? And I'm by the way, for those of you who don't realize, it's kind of been kind of a running joke about a big name going to the University of Florida, and Florida having deep pockets, and it could be a situation where Harbaugh takes a break from the NFL, gets a pair of Brinks trucks full of money from the University of Florida, and if he does nothing, he just goes back to the NFL, and if he has success in Gainesville, being successful in Gainesville is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Winning games at Florida is a lot of fun, but fired zero. I think 0% chance he gets fired. Could he want to do TV for a year or take a break? I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't think so. Eduardo Andre Linares. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. I have Benson, Braylon, Zamir, Chandler, Shakir on my bench. Should I drop anyone for Josh Downs or Winnington? Josh Downs, no. Josh Downs, I would avoid until they figure some things out. In Indianapolis. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I am just drawing a complete blank on Winnington. The other receiver with the Rams opposite Demarcus Robinson. That's it. That's a good one. That is a good one. I got of all the questions. I didn't think I'd get a Winnington one. Let me bring up his numbers real fast. I want to see what he did last week. What did he do last week? 2 catches, 22 yards. By the way, I love this, and I'll tell you why I love it. You're looking at matchups, and you're trying to sneak in a good matchup. Josh Downs pass, Whittington maybe. I would be honest, man. I keep in mind I think Shakir might be a low level start, depending on what your team looks like. Braylon Allen, I just have a huge man crush on. I have no faith in Samir. I'm not really sold on Benson. Don't do it for Downs. Winnington's an interesting one. I'm kind of looking at Winnington and like, God, because he could be one of those guys that look. If you're the Rams, listen. If you're the Rams, you're playing San Francisco. You go to 0-3. You're in trouble. You got Stafford back there. Why not go for it? I get the logic behind it. God, you could let one of those guys go. I would hold on to Braylon Allen. Just do me a favor. Hold on to Braylon Allen until after this week. I kind of want to see how they use him against the Jets. I'm telling you this, he's not getting 2 touchdowns. Shakir is a guy that I want to see how they're updating the offense in Buffalo, because I really think they need to use Dalton Kincaid a lot more. James Cook is a running back number one for right now. Zamir, I'm not high on, but I understand, it's hard to, they're going with more Madison, but hold off, because like technically he's still the starter. But I got Winnington's interesting. The name Chandler is very, very, very familiar to me. I'm just drawing an absolute blank. I'm so sorry, but I'm looking at Winnington maybe able to get you some points where Chandler can't. I am so sorry, man. I'm just drawing a complete blank on Chandler right now. But and honestly, I had to look up Winnington because I recognized the name. I just like quick brain freeze. I know you can't drop Braylon after the game, but keep an eye out on Winnington. This may be a good move for you to make. Grab Winnington. I'm just drawing a blank on Chandler. I am so sorry, man. I should know this. You may want to pull that trigger. I wish I can give you a better answer. After Thursday night football, if you're on social media, send me a DM. Let me get back to you. I think Winnington might be a low, depending. I mean, there's a lot of ifs, but he may be somebody you want to grab. Josh Downs, don't do it. Even if he has a good game, like, don't do it. By the way, you want to grab somebody. Another name freeze. The Colts, with the 53rd pick in the draft, they drafted the other Texas receiver. He was just lighting it up in preseason. He hasn't been able to make things work with Anthony Richardson yet. Towards the end of the show, I'm running out of steam. Adonde Mitchell. That's a guy I would sign. Oh, Ty Chandler, the Vikings running back. Had a good game last week. That's where I remember him from. All right. All right, so if you're on an ESPN league, Star Winnington, nobody's picked him up yet, I'm assuming. Adonde Mitchell would be a better pickup than Josh Downs. Hold on to Winnington. Don't make a move yet. If Shakir has a bad game on Monday night, make that move for next week. All right, sorry. I feel like I let you down, man. But hopefully you can help me out, and hopefully you can help me out, because I don't recognize the name. It's such a cool name. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you need to make a move for Sunday, either hit me up tomorrow or DM me on social media, and let me help you out. DK or London this week? Great question. I'm leaning towards DK Metcalf by a hair. Keep in mind here's the problem that you have in Seattle is you have Kenneth Walker. When he comes back, he's going to get a lot of touches. All right. Jackson Smith and Jigba's coming on. Tyler Lockett, I've always believed, is the better out of the two. I know he had 100 yards last week against the Patriots. Could he do it again? Yeah, he could also have 30. I know London had the late touchdown. Kansas City's defense right now is better than Philly's. I'm kind of curious how Kansas City is going to handle Drake London, because I can see a situation where the Chiefs are going to say, Trent McDuffie, we're going to put you on London. You cover him the whole game. I could also see a situation where the Chiefs say, we're going to focus on John Robinson, try to take him out, and then try to make Cousins beat you. I can see a situation where the Kansas City Chiefs say, you know what, we're going to make Cousins beat us. It's going to be interesting. It's a tough one. I'd say DK by a hair. And the reason why I say that is DK's best will be better than Drake London's best, because Miami, even though the defense has not played bad, you have a new defensive coordinator. DK's at home against a worse defense. So I look at matchups. Drake London's going against one of the better defenses in the National Football League in the Kansas City Chiefs. He's also the guy I can see Kansas City just trying to eliminate. DK Metcalf, he doesn't have that, but he also has to share the ball. DK, neither one of those are great options. And I get why you're wanting to go with Winnington. Yeah, but don't make a move for Winnington yet, because I was looking at some of those players, and I mean, here's the reason why I would go against it is because if you pick up Winnington and he does nothing, you're gonna be mad. All right, I got this one. Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, man. I think Salah would have failed here. I think the first time around he would, but second time I'm not sure. Yeah, you see this a lot. You see this a lot. You see this a lot where NFL players get, the wives divorce them right after their playing career is done. Happened to John Elway. Emmitt Smith was a couple years later. A lot of these pro athletes, yeah. Yeah. I got 10 minutes left. I mean, there's so much Perry. I really want to rant on this, but yeah. Oh, Colin, I have ETN Jr., Swift, Dottle, MHJ, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk, and Flower. Got offered Stephon Diggs and Zach Moss for Flowers. Thoughts, 12-team PPR. Okay. Well, I mean, So here's the deal. You have ETN, and I don't know how much of the shows you've been listening to, but I've been adamant. I've been saying that I've been adamant that Chicago's going to use Swift more. I also think Zach Moss is going to be used a little more. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson. Diggs isn't. I don't think Diggs is really going to do anything for you. Diggs is going to sit on your bench. I can understand why you would want to use Flowers, and I like running backs in a PPR league, and Moss could help you out because Dowdle. I have no confidence that is really going to do anything unless Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt. And by the way, Dalvin Cook's on the practice squad. Why he hasn't been elevated, I don't know. The only thing about Flowers, about getting rid of Flowers, is Flowers is still a legitimate number one guy. Am I starting him over Marvin Harrison Jr.? No. Wilson? No. Ayuk? No. But you have to take it into consideration. Diggs is doing nothing, and you're not starting Moss over ETN and Swift. So I'm giving you a wishy-washy answer here because I would rather have Zach Moss and Dowdle. Flowers isn't starting, but Diggs is going to do absolutely nothing. I'm leaning against it. But if you want Zach Moss to come in and replace Dowdle, I think that's a good move. I get why you would want to do it because Zach Moss you could put into the flex. Right now, the way you have your team set up, you're probably starting ETN and Swift. You can get creative here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Wilson, and Ayuk. Marvin Harrison, Wilson, and Flowers. That's kind of on you. This is a great question. I'm leaning against it because you're giving up a Baltimore's legitimate number one dude for Zach Moss, who's splitting time with Chase Brown. I do think Moss will get more touches. Could have a good game this week, but Diggs is doing nothing. Hold off on this trade. But I'll be honest with you. If you pulled the trigger on it, I wouldn't hate you because Moss is going to be a significant uptick than Dowdle. And if Moss has a big game, and he very well could against Washington, he very well could get a touchdown. That trade will probably be off the books tomorrow. But keep in mind, Flowers may have a monster game against Dallas. So I'm leaning against it for right now. But if you want to pull the trigger, get rid of Dowdle, which, by the way, when Dalvin Cook gets activated, it's just a matter of time he will. Dowdle will probably do nothing. So I'm sorry I'm not giving you a yes or a no answer here. I'm leaning towards no, but if you do make that move, I would not blame you one bit. This was Jets or Raiders. I would go with Raiders, but if you go with Jets, I get it. Oh, I'm sorry, which New York team? Yeah, I figured it was Jets. I would go with Raiders. Yeah, exactly. I've been saying that for a while. You have Breece Hall. Ooh, yeah, God, if you have Breece Hall, God, you're not starting any of those guys. Since you have Breece, you definitely want to keep Braylon. I'm going to tell you not to make this move. If Whittington goes for 100 and a touchdown, you're going to kill me, and there is a chance he could. If the thing is, what I'm worried about is I'm telling you to drop Shakir and add Whittington, but I'm worried that Shakir is going to get some more touches. But I really know that they're adamant on Keon Coleman. I also know they want to run the ball more in Buffalo. So I really want to tell you to wait, but I can see a situation where Whittington has a big week, and then you're going to hate me. I'm still going to tell you to hold off. What would you do? Josh Allen, Kyren, Waddle for Richardson, Moss, CD, PPR. Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, God. Okay, so I'm assuming you have Richardson, Moss, and CD. Okay, number one, Allen will win you championships. I mean, even though he's got the bad hand, didn't do much against Miami, he'll win you championships. Richardson, I believe, is a complete disaster. In a couple weeks, when that offense gets all put together, Kyren Williams will be could be really, really good. I'm adamant that I like Waddle. Here's the problem. I know I think CeeDee Lamb didn't practice this week. CeeDee Lamb might I right now. Look, Dallas is a team that throws the ball a lot, and they only got one stud receiver. And a lot of people, you can blast McCarthy all you want, but one thing he's very good at is making sure CeeDee Lamb gets his touches. I really want to tell you yes. But I really want to tell you yes, but here's the deal. I'm gonna say yes, but I want to give you both ends, and I want to answer. I gotta end the show here in a few minutes. I'm gonna say yes. I want to be adamant though. You're getting an upgrade. You're a massive upgrade in Josh Allen. Williams in a couple weeks could be a running back number 2 or running low end 1. Moss for Williams, you're getting a plus with Williams, even though Moss will probably be better this week. Waddle is a guy that's going to be able to get you some points. Okay. Here's your problem. CeeDee Lamb, there's probably not a better receiver in fantasy football than CeeDee Lamb. There's probably not a better one. If you don't have a good receiver, don't make this move. And hopefully Richardson's not starting for you. Richardson hopefully is not starting for you. If Richardson's your starting quarterback, you're in a bad situation. Make this move and don't even think about it, because you're getting a better running back. You're getting a better quarterback. You're getting a better running back. You're losing maybe the best player in CeeDee Lamb. If you have another stud receiver, like you got somebody like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, make this move. Don't even think about it. If you're struggling at the receiver position, hold off, and ideally you have another quarterback besides Richardson. Short answer is yes. Yes, you want to get Watson, because once Jordan Love is back, and he's going to come back soon, he's going to be a guy that you want to play. Do make that move if he's available. Okay, guys, 1 minute left. If I miss any of your questions, please drop them in the comments below. DM me on social media. Houdini, I kind of want to acquire Ayuk and Moss. I have London, Marcus Robinson, Cook, McBride, and Laporta all up on the trade block. Any ideas? Benches, Mozart, Braylon, Bucky, and Lockett, Cream. Okay, whatever you do not get rid of James Cook. That's a guy that's going to win you some games. You want to acquire Ayuk. I get that. You want to hire Moss. You want to get Moss. I kind of like that too. I kind of like your team the way it is. I'll be honest with you. I get the idea of Ayuk. Let me throw out something kind of crazy, because he got injured. Mozart and Lockett for Ayuk and Moss. Keep in mind, Lockett had a bad week last week, so did Ayuk. You may be able to get a trade there. I'm going to see if I can get one more. Richardson or Goff. Okay, final question. By the way, drop a comment below. Should I start New York's defense or the Raiders? Do go with the Raiders. Raiders defense, you're going against backup quarterback. Teams traveling cross country at home. Final question. Should I trade Daniels and Godwin for Hurts and Olave? Have PPR, have CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins, Rice, Puka already in? Ooh, God. Oh, man. Oh, God. You have such a good receiving core, but you're getting rid of Daniels and you can get Jalen Hurts. I would make this move. The reason why is that Godwin and Olave are going to be a push, but you're going to get a major uptick for Hurts over Daniels. Now, I do predict Jaden Daniels is going to – he's my pick for rookie of the year. He's got some really, really good games. You want to go with Jalen Hurts because when A.J. Brown comes back, his production is going to be up. Guys, I'm going to miss your question. Drop a comment below. Hit me up on Twitter or X, Instagram. Old school, you can email me at dantalksfootball@yahoo.com. You drop a comment in after I get done watching Thursday Night Football. Answer any and all questions. Plus, I'll be back Friday for some more afternoon delight. It's going to be my Week 3 preview show, but I'll answer any and all fantasy questions then. Guys, have a great night. I hope to see you all back tomorrow.